Suleiman Karim has been testifying at the Madlanga Commission. Let's unpack some of his testimony with Chad Thomas from IRS Forensic Investigators. A very good afternoon to you, Chad. Thanks very much for chatting with us. I don't know what you made of the past couple of days overall, some of the moments that stood out for you.
Very good afternoon to you and a very good afternoon to the viewers. It's been an important 2 days. Today for me was critically important because the Commission bared its teeth. In fact, the Commissioner himself, Justice Madlanga, bared his teeth and showed that they're not going to be messed around by legal teams looking to protract matters or looking to obfuscate where there's very obviously a lot to answer to. Mr. Karim himself has come across now as exceptionally unreliable as a witness, especially in terms of being a businessman. He can't account for monies that were paid out of accounts under control of himself, where he is a director and a shareholder and ultimately responsible in terms of the Companies Act for those monies and for the running of those businesses as heuristic entities. He can't account for not having contracts in place with various individuals and companies that he theoretically claims to have loaned monies to. Unsecuritized lending that doesn't have any contract in place. And he's showing himself to have dealt with very dubious characters. And this is now elevated by the fact that he says his life's in danger, which is quite bizarre because they've asked him, why didn't you do due diligence into the people that you're doing business with that are now suddenly purportedly threatening you? And his answers haven't been very convincing at all. So I think as an overall summary, the Commission is not taking prisoners. Mr. Chaskalskin, the evidence leader as an SC, has shown his prowess, and the Commissioner himself has shown that he's not taking nonsense from anybody. They're answering to the country, and they're prepared to go as far as it takes to get the answers the public are seeking.
Well, the claim that his life would be in danger was, of course, part of the motivation that he tried to make, to insist that his application, he must testify in camera, which of course the Commission rejected. Anything from what he has said up until now that you think may just, even if we're to give him the benefit of a doubt, may justify that claim?
No, the man owns a security company known as Fusion Tactical. One just has to do an open source intelligence search on that company, go to their website and see the kind of vehicles they have, luxury vehicles that look as if they may be bulletproof, teams of close protection officers that carry long guns and short guns, that being pistols and rifles. The man travels in a convoy of vehicles, much the same as one would expect a minister to travel with. So those claims of feeling that his life's in danger, the man was traveling in a cavalcade of protection long before the Madlanga Commission came about. He has better protection than the average South African, much better protection than the average South African who are victims of crime. He has protection akin to that of a minister. And that being said, he is extremely politically influential in the province from which he comes, the Northwest. He holds a senior post in that particular province from a provincial perspective of the party that he's a member. And it now transpires that there's a conflict because of his political links within that province. It now appears that municipalities may have invested or may have given contracts in excess of 300 million rand to companies that are under his control. So all in all, not much confidence in him as being an honest witness, but I see that they are not taking it lightly at the Commission of Inquiry, and the Commission of Inquiry is digging deeper and deeper every day and presenting answers to South Africans that we've been wanting answers to for a very long time in respect of the symbiotic relationship between political actors, public sector actors, and private sector actors, all consumed with plundering the public purse.
Let's talk about, maybe I should ask you whether there's something to be said about the behavior of his legal team, something, of course, you touched on earlier from the scuffle that broke yesterday about the sitting arrangements where they were arguing with the Commission's secretary to what clearly incensed the chairperson of the inquiry, Judge Madlanga, today, where he took exception to Rafik Bana, his lawyer, who suggested, well, didn't suggest, actually said that the commissioner or the chairperson has actually prejudged their application. Is there something to be said about the behavior and attitude of Mr. Suleiman's legal team?
Shockingly arrogant. So they've been arrogant from the very outset. We've seen the legal team trying to find every single maneuver in the book to not get their client to testify, to postpone, to claim that the commission is being unfair towards their client. And it just goes to show how money and influence has caused this ego and arrogance to permeate society. To see people speaking to commissioners of such high standing, the manner in which they did, and to have seen it not as a once-off or a twice-off, but to have seen this continued arrogance from Mr. Karim's legal team since the outset of when his testimony should have begun, just goes to show that people do not have the necessary respect for the institutions that are there to assist our country, specifically whether it's a commission of inquiry, a court of law, a Chapter 9 institution. They don't have the respect because it seems as if money these days is all that matters, and it brings with it a sense of arrogance that we've now seen on full display at this inquiry.
And juxtapose that with the attitude of the chairperson, Judge Madlanga, who, notwithstanding that the fact that he was clearly incensed by both the utterances and the behavior of the Suleiman Karim's legal team, he still found it necessary to say, you, Mr. Bana, have seen in the courts where there would be arguments where judges would really try to make the best of the moment and still rule in your favor, even though you may have thought that they were against you.
Judge Madlanga got to bare his teeth today, and it was a surprise to a lot of people because he's held himself to a very high standard. He has been the epitome of dignity in the manner in which he's conducted himself and the manner in which he's conducted this inquiry. It's been exceptionally disciplined. We just have to look at the timing to see how disciplined it's been. And we've seen how him, together with his two co-commissioners, have treated witnesses that have come with the most bizarre statements, some of the most bizarre discoveries have been made at this inquiry, things from Brazilian butt lifts to corruption, yet they've carried themselves with such dignity. And today you could see the frustration. It finally came through. And I think it was good for South Africans to see that this commissioner, despite the dignity and despite the fact that he always shows respect, can bare his teeth when the need arises.
Going forward, what for you are some of the most sort of glaring omissions on the part of Mr. Suleiman Karim? What for you are some of the key questions that he is hitherto yet to really answer, or answer openly and honestly?
We have to give credit to the evidence leaders. You find out that they've been working throughout the night. They've been working early hours of the morning. You find out that Chaskelson at 5 a.m. this morning found further payments that hadn't been declared in respect of Medicare 24, a company associated with a tender that was awarded in terms of the SAPS wellness contract worth 360 million rand. It seems as if the evidence leaders, together with their team, are doing an incredible job of joining the dots. I really, really hope that IDAC, the SIU, SARS, the DPCI, and the AFU are watching this and taking notes. Yesterday, we saw a lesson in money laundering. Today, we saw a lesson in obfuscation. And to say as a businessman, and again, it comes across as arrogant that, oh, well, you didn't realize 2 million rand had been transferred. What kind of a businessman are you, or what kind of figures are going through your account that you actually can't account for 2 million rand? It's just a situation that beggars belief. And it just shows how emboldened people have become when it comes to dealing with public sector funds that flow through these private individuals or their heuristic entities' accounts.
but it probably points to their naivety as well, because I guess, I mean, if you've been engaged in the kinds of activities that he is being accused of engaging in, after a while, you also drop your guard and assume that, you know, things are going to stay like that forever. And some of those things are, of course, being exposed now. Lots to talk about, but for today, that's where we're going to leave it, Chad Thomas. Let me thank you very much for your time. Suleiman Karim will, of course, be back at the Madlanga Commission on the 16th of April.